former journalist Francelina Almeida of Brazil. I want to bear witness about my testimony. When the Lord called me, I was in the world in a mire of sludge. I was raised in a college run by nuns in the city of Rio de Janeiro at the Santo Amaro High School. I was going about life in ignorance, seeking the truth. I spent a certain time there in this institution, for I wanted to be Our Lady Mary's daughter. My parents were wealthy people, but they knew nothing about the living God. I did not know him either. I was working in journalism for 23 years of my secular life. I was there in the clutches of the devil. In that period I was working as a press officer. I did journalism and served in my profession for many years. I used to do press services for certain well-known politicians known nationally in Brazil, and I had a radio and television program. I got to a point in my life where I needed God. I had a great desire to meet the living God, for I believed there was a God out there, but I did not know what to do to reach him. I had a seed of faith. I was in search of God. As a result, I went through several religions, sects, and heresies. I was previously in Catholicism, then in Buddhism. Later I got in Kardecist Spiritism, then in the numerology of control, that is mind control. I went through the chakra mantras, and I studied the tarot and stones, and finished in Candamil, that have many followers, mainly Afro-Brazilians. However, there was an emptiness inside of me. For many years I was in ritual, and I drank dirty water coming from slaughter animals mixed with leaf fruits. It was stinking water, smelling bad. I drank from that dirty water until the day the Lord Jesus took me with his strong hand. One day as I was bathing, my body was overwhelmed by an incredible feeling that I never felt before. I started to cry, for I knew this was God's touch, and I was transported in the spirit. I was spinning around, falling. Then I entered a place where I saw big shackles. I fell in that place at a tremendous speed. Everything was covered with something sticky, so slippery, and suddenly I got to the end of a tunnel. A door opened before me. There was the angel of the Lord who came for me. He said, "Come, I will show you hell." When I entered that place I came across a tragic scene. It was horrible, a dreary place, a place really hot. There is nothing that can define the horrible stench. There were prison cells in the dungeon of hell. In that place I saw 150 to 200 people in each cell. There was a lot of people in many cells, and those people were being afflicted by thousands of demons of all sizes. I saw the affliction of people who were crying. Truly, people were calling for help. They were screaming and crying, and I looked and I saw that people in hell were conscious. When people died, they do not lose consciousness, and they remember everything they left in the world. Cell of the popular figures. The angel took me to the departments of hell. Another gate opened. Inside were smaller cells. I started to contemplate people who were known authorities, people of the world of music industries. I saw cultural artists. I saw the archbishop, and I went looking for people I have known on the surface. The devils afflicted these people. In this cell of the popular figures, they were more demons but a smaller number of people. The angel tells me, people who are very well known on the surface of the earth, who think that there is no Jesus and there is no God, when they arrived in hell they are in much more distressed realities. And when I looked, there were also pastors, there were women leaders of prayer circles, and there were young people. I said, "Why are these people there?" The angel said, "This pastor used to teach that hell was not what counts, for they were already saved. Once you accepted Jesus, you're already saved. She teaches that you do not need to worry about entering heaven or hell. We are under grace, not the law." The angel told me, the women leaders and 3 young people who were there were people who contend with people. They caused dissent and division within the church. They were also people who robbed God, for they were not faithful in tithing. Robbers will not enter heaven. We think that a robber is the one who's stealing out there, but not giving tithe is equal to stealing. Many are robbing God. Tithing is faithfulness to godly worship. Thieves will not enter into the glory of God. We steal in tithes and offerings, which is written in the Word, and the Word is the truth and the light in our paths. We have to walk in it, for it's our manual. The angel was explaining to me right there what was happening in that place. He tells me those people who were full of gossip and slandering that led them to this place. Instead of slandering, we have to pray for our neighbor and not judge them. If your brother is down, you can pray and fast for him. try to rescue and bring him back instead of slandering and gossiping. Then another gate opened before us, the gathering of dark power in hell. When the gate opened, I saw a great meeting taking place in this part of hell. It was the gathering of demons and fallen angels. Evil powers were gathered here. The kingdom of hell is well organized. In this gathering, there were principalities, powers, fallen angels who are accountable to Satan, who supervised the hierarchy of the forces of the universe. The demons that are the soldiers are accountable to the rulers of darkness. Dominion is accountable to the power of attorney. Powers are accountable to principalities, and principalities are accountable to Satan. They were all analyzing their device and the deceptive infrastructure of lies over the world, and they were trying to upgrade and modernize their tactics and the strategies. The vision of Satan is to take the greatest proportion and number of human, and if possible the whole humanity. He knows he will be defeated. He will truly be cast into the lake of fire and sulfur for eternity. He hates the human race, for we are in the image and in the likeness of God. The devil is in the world more and more, acting with greater force, and he is invading the end-time church with a great army of demons with him in order to take God's people away from the presence of the Lord. He wants to cool the faith of many and stop the prayer. They are working hard. In this summit, I saw the devil of rejection there in hell. I saw the demon of insomnia, whose name is Sonia. There's another demon called Bi. There are a lot of demons whose names are words that are every day on people's lips. Every time we say Bi, the demon called Bi receives honors in hell. There is a demon in hell who gets honor every time we say good morning, for that is his name. The same thing when we say good evening and good night, for these are demons' names. There is also a demon called Goddammit. There is another demon called the F word who gets honor in hell when people say the F word. They have named that in people's lips. Whenever people say go to hell, there is a demon that is honor in hell, for his name is go to hell. In this meeting, I saw the demon of the rebellion, who is causing a lot of rebellion on the earth, and when there is rebellion in the church against the hierarchy, he gets honor in hell. I want to tell you that these demons are souls winners. They are accountable to the devil, and they always parade souls of men that they had captured and swallowed to the devil. They are reaping souls through suicide, homicides, through drugs, alcoholism and accident. During this evil meeting, devils were always consulting and trying to figure out a new tactic to capture authentic and true men of God. Whenever God raised a preacher, he would become the target of the council of demons. I saw the devil asking about a particular pastor, and he said to the other demons, "Can you give me his number? His church is growing. We must tie him to adultery. We must get a woman to fool with him." And they were preparing to give the information that the demon wanted. In this gathering, they were plotting and conspiring to bring down men of God and women of God who are women of prayer. I saw the demon who worked in the church and who coordinate these operations inside the church to cause men of God to fall, meeting the prince of this world. Then the angel took me in another place so much organized and beautiful. A door opened before us, and there came a man all dressed in white. He was cute. Actually, he was the most beautiful man I had seen in my life. That man was perfect, and he came in my direction, and I started to look at him. And when he was coming closer to me, his eyes became evil, but the angel stretched his hand before him to stop him, and the man asked the angel, "What is she doing here?" At that moment the claws started to come out of this man. He started to transform himself, and his clothes started to tear up. He started to grow monstrous, and it was horrible. I remember these horror movies. They loose in comparison to the devil, for he is truly ugly. One eye all bogey, on the whole side hairy. It was rather brownish green. It was weird. I said, "Jesus, take me away from here." And at that moment when I called the name of the Lord Jesus, I was taken from that place.